Deep within a forest amongst the tallest trees on Earth lies California's last unspoiled salmonid habitat.
You know, the currents here change a lot, you know, between each cast. That's pretty money.
I don't know, it's moving.
You want to throw right above that.
There's no place in Oregon or California that I would rather be. You know, this is it. Woo! Sweet.
Got one.
My introduction to the Smith is spearheaded by guide Rich Zellman.
She looks pretty good today.
Nice and clean, it's a good level for it.
Never one to pass up a trip to the Smith, Flywater Travel's Ken Morrish is our ace in the hole. Ken is an acclaimed photographer, writer, and fly designer, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a fly fisherman who has logged more days on this river than Ken.
Probably one of us should go down there before there's any more light on it, don't you think?
Yeah, just fish a, you know, really long leader.
Because of the depth?
Yeah.
Rich Zellman is that rare breed of guide willing to brave dangerous water for very difficult fish.
Do you guys want to go start that, or do you want to fish the head? What do you want to do? I mean, probably have a better rig for fishing the head just because I've got a longer belly, eh?
Yeah, we can do. It's kind of tough with that rig to get, you know, down in here.
Well, it's an ugly spot to fish, but I guess we got to do it.
Another one that sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
My dream of fishing one of the last of the wildest steelhead rivers is about to become a reality.
Well, cool. Let's get after it. What do you say?
All right, you guys want to head on down there? I'll head up to the top end.
Okay.
All right, man.
Get him, man.
Yeah, you too.
So like in here, Jed,
Yeah?
we're gonna throw it up, and you know, pretty much, you let it go. Pretty much, you can't really do too much to it.
All right.
A lot of times in here, you'll feel it, like it just tightens up, and you know, even anything just
yank it.
Yeah, it
So-
feels just like, you know,
Okay.
just everything's tightening up. He's
Okay.
got it.
That's a great analogy. Like, that helps a lot, you know, just
Yeah.
that little, the feeling thing, you know? It's like, oh, okay, that's what it's like.
Though the morning yields no fish, the rewards for time spent casting on the Smith are many. Rich and Ken employ a unique style of two-handed nymph fishing to reach these fish, and within this magnificent classroom, I'm adding this technique to my repertoire. With no luck roadside, we hop in the boat for a wild ride into unpressured waters. A float on the Smith is as beautiful as it is hazardous, and only the most experienced oarsmen need apply. For navigating the fiercest rapids, Rich requests an empty boat for everyone's safety. The Smith is a river of contrast with raging whitewater emptying into deep, tranquil pools where steelhead find respite from the torrents. The fishing equals the challenge of the boating, and despite our best efforts, Ken and I don't find a steelhead together. I thank Ken for his tutelage, and Rich and I venture forth in my quest to catch a wild winter steelhead. As guests of the Smith River Alliance, we enjoy quiet evenings off the grid at Rock Creek Lodge, where rest comes easy after a full day of fishing.
So there's no utilities. So that means you have to generate your own power.
And in our case, we use an intermittent stream, and that's hooked up to a Pelton wheel. So that's microhydro. We'll generate about 42% of our annual energy through that microhydro.
Pretty cool.
And then solar is about 52%.
Wow. Grant, explain to me, what is the Smith River Alliance?
Well, the Smith River Alliance, we founded in 1980, and really, in the true sense of an alliance, sport fishing groups, conservation groups, even business groups, League of Women Voters, all entities really interested in this basin from a conservation point of view. Record king salmon, 74 pounds. Steelhead, almost 30 pounds.
And let's remind people, we're in California.
We're in California.
Right.
That's right. We're in Northern California.
Right.
And you're in the Klamath-Siskiyou ecoregion, which in itself is a very significant biodiversity area. Back in 1980, we realized it was a very special place. So we teamed up with a lot of organizations, that was the Alliance, to really work on long-term sustained management of the resources here. And I was their first executive director in 1980. This is home base for the Alliance. And so all the youth camps, fish identification, invertebrate identification, learning about restoration in salmonids, we provide those programs and trainings, and we are about protecting, restoring salmonids, and providing all the stewardship that is needed to make sure when your boys come here with their grandkids that we'll have a great salmon and steelhead population for years to come.
This river is as beautiful as any that I've ever seen, and I mean, it's a pretty unique place, so I mean, it's easy to see why it's pretty important for you to protect it.
We have the largest recorded rainfall in the continental United States here, with about 240 inches.
Wow.
Big rainfall.
Yeah.
In some parts of the basin, we do not have actually that much forest. In other places, like here, we have pretty good forest. And in the coastal zone, coastal redwoods, those actually grow very, very well. It's a great area for growing redwoods. So together, that whole package is the Smith River watershed. It's about 720 square miles, pretty circular basin, no dams. Okay, no dams in this basin, and in fact, there are more miles designated through the federal wild and scenic river system as wild and scenic than just about any other river in the nation. Over 300 miles.
Wow.
Main forks and tributaries designated wild and scenic.
What are some of the threats that you've had to deal with and that you're dealing with here?
Great question, and really that has been the story of the Alliance. The National Recreation Area, established 1990, there were some key private areas that were not available for sale at that time. So we have really focused on picking up those big in-holdings to complete that landscape picture of the National Recreation Area. The last big one we're in the process of completing right now, and that's known as Hurdy-Gurdy Creek. Fabulous spawning and rearing habitat. In one season alone, over 300 reds for steelhead. There's like 14 miles of really great habitat on Hurdy-Gurdy. And so most of this acquisition, it's a 5,300, almost 5,400 acre acquisition. Most of that is in Hurdy-Gurdy. And that will be purchased and transferred to the National Recreation Area later this year. And again, Cal Trout, Nature Conservancy, TU, a great cast of partners. Really, we got to work together to get these things done, because with appropriations and that coordination in Washington and then the work regionally and locally, it takes a good team.
Grant, what is the Salmon Stronghold Program and what does the designation mean?
Well, basically the concept is the need for key stronghold basins throughout the Pacific Rim, where it's kind of the best and strongest populations we have, the most secure watersheds, to guarantee in the long term we sustain wild populations. And by doing so, with this network of strongholds, that allows us to accomplish that. We've got to do the best that we can with our strongholds. So if you have a network of those, from Alaska all the way down through California. That gives us a chance to succeed to protect salmon. And there's actually legislation on the national level, Pacific Salmon Stronghold Conservation Act, to try to help facilitate and support the protection and conservation of those basins. So it's a really great program, and our elected people, they're all very supportive of the Pacific Salmon Stronghold Conservation Act. And in fact, up and down the coast, you know, Western senators have been very supportive of it because it makes so much sense.
Of course. You know, what you're getting at with the Stronghold program is that if you've got a few of these rivers that still have great populations of wild salmon, there's a chance for other rivers that we've messed up.
Exactly. And that's, you're using nature's way of recovering basins. So what you just described is so right on. It's giving ourselves our best chance of succeeding in the long term using nature's own process of repopulating.
Let her do her thing.
Right on.
She'll fix it herself eventually if we give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
Awesome.
Protect the best.
That's right.
Fish.
I don't know. It's moving. Yeah. Fish.
Nice. Keep the rod on this side.
Trout Unlimited is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Where the Smith meets the Pacific, numbers of the river's returning salmonids are monitored by a high-tech system under the watchful eye of Zach Larson and Associates.
We're running a 2-year pilot study that's looking at the effectiveness of using Didson sonar to enumerate salmon and steelhead populations in the Smith River. Didson is an acronym for Dual Frequency Identification Sonar. It was originally developed for Defense Department applications. It's since been used for fisheries applications, and what it is it uses sound waves that travel through the water and allow us to detect what's passing in front of our sonar station. So this is our office, Jed. This is the real-time data collection right here. This array on the left here is the sonar on the far side of the river looking back at us. This one right here on the right is right below us facing out across the river.
Why two?
Because we want to try to capture the most of the channel that we can. And so to effectively do that, we need to have sonars on both sides facing in. The sonar doesn't have the ability to use one sonar to beam all the way across. Our project is tasked with determining the effectiveness of using these types of sonars on a river like the Smith for estimating the numbers of salmon and steelhead that are using the river system. It's a 2-year project funded by the California Department of Fish and Game's Fisheries Restoration Grants Program, as well as sales of steelhead restoration report cards, and also a local partner, the Smith River Alliance.
Is it just you that's working on it? Is there multiple people? Does the system run itself? How does it happen?
Well, Jed, we have a staff of 5 crew members. Our office here is staffed 24/7 for 6 months continuously. Because the river level fluctuates so much, someone needs to be here to actually go out into the river and manually adjust the sonar so that it's optimally fishing.
Oh, gotcha. So if the river's coming up, you might have to move your sonars?
Absolutely. There's days where this river will come up 12 feet in a day. On days like that, someone will be in waders and out physically adjusting the sonar units nearly continuously.
Or in the middle of the night if the river's coming up, correct?
Absolutely.
That's why you've got somebody here 24/7?
Absolutely.
With your equipment, are you able to see differences in fish behavior out in the river?
Absolutely. There's several different trends that we've noticed. In October and November, where we're dealing primarily with fall run Chinook, they tend to move most during the evening and overnight hours, all the way through until around sunrise of the next day. Steelhead seem to display the complete opposite behavior. They tend to move from beginning light in the day through about late evening as the sun sets. The way that this technology is going, research is currently underway to identify fish to species based off the tail beat frequency.
Oh, wow.
It's thought that a Chinook salmon beats its tail at a different frequency than a steelhead or a coho salmon. So hopefully in the next several years, I would be able to tell you that there goes 7 Chinook salmon and 1 steelhead and 2 coho.
Based on the tail?
Based on the tail beat frequency, yeah, the number of tail beats per second. Another interesting behavior that we tend to notice is the salmon, they tend to move on this deeper part of the river. We don't see very many across the river where the depth is 4 to 7 feet. They stay over here in the deepest part. Steelhead are the complete opposite. We see about 65–70% of our fish come up on the far side of the river in that shallower depth, and very little over here in the deeper side.
So you're looking at the potential that the equipment has to accurately count the fish, is that right?
Correct. We know that it can be used for this purpose because they've been doing it in Alaska and British Columbia for several years now.
Okay. After the 2 years, then what?
That's a good question. We're currently trying to secure more funding so that we can continue this study.
Okay.
We feel that it's a very valid study and that we're kind of the first large-scale operation using Ditson to count fish in California. As other projects are coming online, they come to us to help them get their projects off the ground.
And if it's deemed that it is accurate at counting fish successfully, then what will it be used for?
It's possible in the future that these types of sonars could be used to help management. We would like to be able to help the Department of Fish and Game so they know how many fish are swimming up this river, and then they can take whatever actions are necessary to keep this fishery sustainable.
And hopefully in the end allows us to protect those populations of fish and manage them a little bit better, right?
Absolutely. Traditional methods to estimate how many fish are swimming up rivers rely on a lot of mathematics and formulas. This is a relatively straightforward operation. The data that we collect can be viewed by anyone. It's relatively intuitive what's a fish as it swims through because of the near video quality images produced. This is a tool that takes that gray area out and provides an actual number.
It seems like the better we are at being able to pinpoint exactly what's going on in our rivers, the better that we can make sure that we protect them.
Correct.
And if it's successful, where do you see it being used in the future?
I think that this technology will be proven successful and that we will see it used on rivers throughout the Pacific Northwest to count salmon and steelhead returning.
Good year for steelhead?
It seems to be a better year for steelhead than last year.
Okay, well good. Keep my fingers crossed that that'll help me then.
Yep. Good luck out there.
I know, well thank you.
You bet.
Trout Unlimited is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Back on the upper reaches of the Smith River watershed, Rich Sillman has me on the fish.
Nice cast.
I hooked and lost my first Smith River steelhead in this run earlier, and we're hoping there's another biter around willing to give me a battle.
Fish.
Moving? Yeah, oh dude, it's a nice one. Let him have it if he wants it, Judd.
Keep side pressure on them.
Keep side pressure on him.
All right, to reel the tip in.
Just try to keep it out there.
All right.
So we don't have any of those knots or anything. He's probably gonna see us and take off. Nice big buck. Watch him on those rocks there. Oh, baby. Jed, do you want to hop out?
Sure.
As soon as we get him in, I imagine he'd take off again.
All right.
Try to bring him down over here. There's a lot less obstructions down here.
All right.
And when you can, just try to like swing him into me. Easy fella.
Sick!
Not quite done yet. He's a big boy.
That's gonna be nice and
It's gonna feel nice.
Wet.
Yeah, I get it. I get
Got
it.
it.
Concentrate.
good call.
A little too big for the net.
Nice. Oh, man.
Big, beautiful,
Big, beautiful,
wild Smith River steelhead.
Wow. Right on, man. There she is. Beautiful
Nice
fish.
big male.
Oh, right on. A little drink.
Beautiful fish, man.
Unbelievable.
Look at that little orange tip on his dorsal there.
Wow, dude. Unbelievable. This is Smith River right here, huh? This is what it's all
That's
about.
about as good as it gets there. Yeah.
What it's all about.
Yeah.
Big wild buck. Smith River, Northern California.
There he wants to go.
There he goes.
I'm going fishing.
Here you go,
dude.
Sweet. A little bit of a rodeo, but man, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This technique's pretty deadly.
It works.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you that. I'll grab my wet life jacket. Woo! Yeah.